Behind the glitz, glam and diamonds lies a darker side of Housewives' beauty. Brandi Glanville swears a parasite attacked her face. Tamra Judge's skin nearly melted from a chemical reaction. And that's just the beginning. These are the most shocking cosmetic surgery disasters in Real Housewives history. Brandi Glanville. Brandi Glanville's approach to cosmetic surgery can best be described as give me one of everything. The Real Housewives star has never held back. From breast augmentation to vaginal rejuvenation, she's been brutally honest about it all. When RuPaul asked her what facial work she'd had done, Brandi just laughed and said, tons. And she wasn't kidding. Multiple fillers, endless Botox, you name it. Brandi tried it. She's admitted to being definitely overfilled and had some bad Botox where your eyes drop. That droopy eye effect. It's called ptosis, and it happens when Botox goes wrong. She even got laser lipo on her fupa because people kept asking if she was pregnant. But here's where things get absolutely wild. In 2024, Brandi disappeared for over a year, then posted an unfiltered photo that had everyone asking, what happened? Fans assumed it was more botched cosmetic work. Plot twist. She claims some doctors think she has a parasite that jumps around her face.
I have a parasite that jumps around my face. It lives in the skin in my face. It'll go and jump around to different places and just get lumpy in all the different places.
Others say it's stress-induced swelling called angioedema that makes her go into anaphylactic shock. Brandi's spent almost every dollar trying to figure it out. Her theory? She blames Bravo and all the legal drama she's been dealing with. Sexual harassment allegations, lawsuits with Andy Cohen. She says the stress literally ruined her face and health. So Brandi went from voluntarily changing everything about her appearance to having a mystery condition change it against her will. Tamra Judge. Tamra Judge decided to celebrate her birthday in 2024 with what she thought would be a transformation that would take years off her appearance. Instead, she ended up looking like she'd been in a serious accident, documenting her horror story on social media for millions to see. Tamra's relationship with cosmetic surgery began years earlier, with what seemed like successful procedures. In 2017, she underwent a lower facelift that gave her subtle, natural-looking results. The success of this initial procedure gave her confidence in cosmetic surgery as a tool for maintaining her appearance. Her breast augmentation journey was more complicated. Decades ago, she had breast implants installed. However, over time, she became dissatisfied with her implants and the way they looked and felt. In 2021, she made the decision to have her breast implants completely removed, opting for a more natural appearance. The explant surgery was successful, and she was happy with her decision to return to her natural breast size. But in 2024, Tamra decided it was time to address the upper portion of her face. She had completed the lower facelift years earlier, but felt that her forehead and brow area needed attention to match the refreshed look of her lower face. She compared it to painting the house but forgetting the trim, feeling that she needed to complete the work she had started. Tamra's fatal mistake was deciding to combine multiple aggressive procedures all at once. Instead of spacing out her treatments over several months to allow for proper healing, she scheduled a surgical brow lift, CO2 laser treatment, and blue chemical peel, all during the same time period. This combination of procedures created a perfect storm of trauma to her facial tissues. The swelling is pretty bad. I do feel a little bit better today. I took a shower. I'm able to turn the TV on now. Before, the noise hurt my head so bad because of the brow lift, so I just wanted to stay in complete silence. Tamra documented her recovery process. Her face swelled to the point where she could barely open her eyes. The combination of procedures left her skin a blue colour from the chemical peel, while massive swelling extended from her face down to her neck and chest. The images Tamra shared on social media were shocking. She was virtually unrecognisable, looking like she had been severely beaten or been in a car accident. The swelling was so extreme that her facial features were completely distorted. She couldn't eat solid food, had difficulty speaking, and required assistance with basic daily activities. Marysol Patton. Marysol Patton holds the unfortunate record for the most cosmetic surgery disasters in Real Housewives history. Her journey through 6 different procedures reads like a medical horror story, with each surgery creating new problems that required additional operations to fix. Marysol's cosmetic surgery saga began when she was just a teenager, growing up with naturally large breasts during an era when smaller chests were considered more fashionable. She felt self-conscious and out of place. The constant attention and comments about her body made her uncomfortable, and she decided that breast reduction surgery would solve her problems. At a young age, she underwent the procedure, hoping to achieve a more proportionate figure that would make her feel confident and comfortable in her own skin. The initial breast reduction surgery left Marysol with massive, noticeable scars across her chest. The surgeon's technique was aggressive, and the healing process was complicated and painful. But the biggest problem wasn't the scarring. It was the fact that Marysol wasn't finished developing physically. Her breast tissue continued to grow after the reduction surgery, gradually returning her chest to its original size while leaving her with permanent surgical scars as a reminder of the failed procedure. Frustrated with the outcome and dealing with the return of her original problem, Marysol decided to undergo another breast procedure. The overcorrection left her feeling worse about her body than before any surgical intervention. Determined to fix the problems created by her previous surgeries, Marysol decided to get breast implants to restore volume and create a more balanced appearance. During one of her subsequent procedures, something went catastrophically wrong. One of her breast implants literally migrated from its intended position to her shoulder area. The implant had to be surgically removed from the wrong location and repositioned, creating additional scar tissue and trauma to the surrounding areas. But Marysol's surgical nightmare wasn't over. One of her breast implants actually popped. Each surgery created a new scar tissue, making subsequent procedures more difficult and risky. The repeated trauma to her chest area left Marysol dealing with chronic pain, limited mobility, and psychological trauma from years of failed surgeries. Lauren Simon. Lauren Simon thought she was making a smart financial decision when she booked a flight to Turkey for breast augmentation surgery. The procedure would cost her a fraction of what she'd pay in the UK, and she'd get a vacation out of it too. What could go wrong? Everything. Lauren had been considering breast enhancement for years, watching her fellow housewives transform their bodies with seemingly perfect results. The clinic promised her natural-looking results at an unbeatable price, complete with luxury accommodation and transportation. It seemed like the perfect solution for someone wanting to upgrade her appearance without breaking the bank. The surgery itself seemed to go smoothly. Lauren was in and out of the operating room within hours, and the initial results looked promising. But within days of returning home, her nightmare began. "I thought I was going to die. I was really poorly and I nearly lost my nipple. It was turning black. I couldn't sleep. I was crying." Lauren's words paint a terrifying picture of what happened next. The infection set in fast and aggressive. Her breast tissue began to die, turning dark colours that indicated serious necrosis. The pain was unbearable, and she found herself unable to sleep or function normally. The worst part wasn't just the physical agony, but the complete abandonment by the Turkish clinic. "Once you get back to the UK, there is no aftercare. They are not interested in you," Lauren revealed. She rushed to UK hospitals, where doctors were horrified by what they saw. The surgical technique was substandard, the materials used were questionable, and the infection was so severe that Lauren's life was genuinely at risk. She required multiple emergency procedures to save her breast and prevent the infection from spreading throughout her body. Lauren's case isn't isolated. She discovered that 28 Britons have died from complications related to overseas cosmetic procedures since 2019, with 6 deaths occurring in 2023 alone. The Foreign Office has been tracking these deaths, but the numbers only represent the cases they know about. Many more people suffer in silence, too embarrassed to speak out about their botched surgeries. Jennifer Aydin. Jennifer Aydin's situation is particularly ironic because she's married to a plastic surgeon, Dr. Bill Aydin, yet she's experienced some of the most regrettable cosmetic surgery outcomes in Real Housewives history. Jennifer's cosmetic surgery journey began with rhinoplasty, a nose job that she felt would improve her facial harmony and boost her confidence. The procedure was successful and gave her the refined nose shape she was seeking. Her next procedure was a chin implant, designed to create better facial balance and a more defined jawline. However, Jennifer's experience with her chin implant quickly turned into a disaster. Almost immediately after the chin implant surgery, Jennifer knew something was wrong. The implant didn't look natural, didn't feel right, and created an appearance that was far from what she had envisioned. Jennifer made the difficult decision to have the chin implant completely removed shortly after it was installed. This required another surgery, additional healing time, and left her dealing with scar tissue where the implant had been placed. The removal process was complicated and traumatic, and she was left with no improvement to show for all the pain and expense she had endured. Her husband, Dr. Bill Aydin, performed a tummy tuck on Jennifer in 2019. While this procedure was more successful than her chin implant experience, it created an uncomfortable dynamic in their marriage. Having your spouse operate on you blurs the lines between personal and professional relationships, and it can create complications if something goes wrong. Shannon Beador. Shannon's approach to fighting the signs of aging was to rely heavily on facial fillers. Initially, the fillers gave her the subtle enhancement she was seeking. helping to restore a more youthful appearance without the downtime and risks associated with surgical procedures. However, like many people who start with conservative treatments, Shannon gradually increased the amount and frequency of her filler treatments. What started as subtle enhancement slowly escalated into obvious overfilling that changed the natural proportions of her face. Shannon eventually reached a point where she realised she had gone too far with her filler treatments. She admitted to overdoing it on filler so severely that she needed to take corrective action. The overfilled appearance was so obvious and unnatural that she couldn't ignore the problem any longer. To address the overfilling, Shannon underwent hyaluronidase injections, a procedure designed to dissolve excessive filler and restore more natural facial proportions. After dealing with the filler reversal process, Shannon decided that surgical intervention was necessary to achieve the results she wanted. She scheduled a facelift, a more permanent solution to address the signs of aging. However, her timing for this procedure was problematic. Shannon had her facelift performed just 5 weeks before filming the Real Housewives of Orange County reunion show. 5 weeks is barely adequate healing time for a facelift, and appearing on camera so soon after surgery was risky. Facelift recovery typically requires 6 to 8 weeks for initial healing, with several months needed for final results to appear. The rushed timeline for Shannon's surgery recovery became a topic of discussion among fans and critics. Appearing on television just 5 weeks after a facelift meant that viewers could potentially see swelling, scarring, or other signs of recent surgery. The pressure to look perfect on camera may have influenced her decision to schedule surgery so close to filming dates. Dolores Catania. Dolores underwent her initial breast augmentation approximately 9 years before sharing her story publicly. At the time, the surgery seemed to go well, and she was initially pleased with the results. The implants gave her the enhanced figure she was seeking, and she felt confident about her decision to undergo the procedure. However, over time, Dolores began to notice problems with her breast implants that became increasingly bothersome. They weren't sitting on me right. They were sagging. The way they looked bothered me, she explained. The implants had shifted from their original position, creating an unnatural and unflattering appearance that made her self-conscious about her body. Frustrated with the appearance of her original implants, following Teresa's recommendation, Dolores decided to have her revision surgery performed by the same surgeon using the same type of implants that Teresa had received. This decision demonstrates how Real Housewives influence each other's cosmetic surgery choices, often sharing surgeon recommendations and comparing results. The influence of friend recommendations in cosmetic surgery decisions is also concerning, as what works well for one person may not be appropriate for another. Each person's anatomy, healing ability, and aesthetic goals are different, making personal recommendations potentially misleading. Teddi Mellencamp's cosmetic surgery experience reveals the hidden consequences that procedures can have on future life plans, particularly for women who want to have children after undergoing breast surgery. Teddi underwent breast surgery at some point before having her third child, though she has been less specific about the exact nature of her procedure compared to some of her fellow housewives. The surgery appeared to be successful initially, and she was satisfied with the aesthetic results. However, when Teddi became pregnant with her third child and planned to breastfeed, she discovered a devastating complication that she had never anticipated. The breast surgery had affected her ability to breastfeed, creating functional problems that went far beyond cosmetic concerns. "I had absolutely no idea that this would affect anything," Teddi said about the impact of her breast surgery on breastfeeding. This statement reveals a crucial gap in patient education and informed consent. Many women undergo breast procedures without fully understanding how surgery can affect the milk ducts, nipple sensation, and overall breastfeeding function. Teddi's experience highlights the importance of discussing future family planning with plastic surgeons before undergoing any breast procedure. Rinna's lips have become her trademark feature, but her journey with lip enhancement and facial fillers serves as a cautionary tale about knowing when enough is enough. Lisa's lip augmentation journey began years ago when she decided to enhance her naturally thin lips with injectable fillers. The initial results were subtle and attractive, giving her fuller lips that complemented her facial features. The success of her lip enhancement encouraged her to maintain the results with regular filler treatments. Over time, Lisa's lip fillers became more dramatic and noticeable. While some people loved her bold lip look, others criticized the obviously artificial appearance. Lisa embraced the attention her lips received, making them a part of her public persona and brand. However, Lisa's facial filler treatments gradually escalated beyond her lips to include other areas of her face. She received regular Botox treatments and fillers in her cheeks, temples, and other facial areas. The cumulative effect of all these treatments began to change her appearance in ways she hadn't anticipated. Lisa admitted that she had gone too far with her facial fillers and needed to scale back her treatments. She began reducing the frequency and amount of her filler injections, allowing some of the excessive volume to naturally metabolize and fade away. Despite her regrets about overfilling, Lisa has maintained her signature lip enhancement. Her lips remain fuller than natural, but she has found a balance that looks more proportionate to her face. Teresa Giudice's cosmetic surgery journey has been extensive and well documented, but her most serious complication came from what should have been a routine tummy tuck procedure that turned into a medical emergency. Teresa has been open about her multiple breast augmentations over the years, upgrading and changing her implants several times to maintain her desired appearance. She has also undergone various facial procedures and regularly gets lip fillers and other injectable treatments to maintain her look. Teresa's most serious surgical complication occurred during her tummy tuck procedure. The surgery was intended to address loose skin and muscle separation that commonly occurs after pregnancy and weight fluctuations. During Teresa's recovery from the tummy tuck, she developed what appeared to be a serious infection or healing complication. The exact nature of the problem has not been fully disclosed, but it was severe enough to require additional medical attention and extended recovery time. Teresa's complication was serious enough that she needed ongoing medical treatment beyond the normal recovery period for tummy tuck surgery. The infection caused significant distress and forced her to take time away from filming and public appearances while she dealt with the medical emergency. Despite experiencing this serious complication, Teresa has continued to pursue cosmetic procedures. She has undergone additional breast surgeries and continues to get regular injectable treatments. Her willingness to continue with cosmetic enhancement despite her negative experience demonstrates the powerful psychological appeal of these procedures. The Real Housewives plastic surgery disasters prove that money can't buy perfect results, and sometimes the pursuit of perfection creates permanent damage that's worse than aging naturally. These women risked their lives, spent fortunes, and ended up with complications that required years of corrective procedures. But the most shocking part isn't what we've already seen. It's what's happening right now behind closed doors with procedures so extreme they make these stories look tame.